is here. Saturday morning, no fishing, just getting ready to head into Tuck West, Aussie Park, Perth, Western Australia. I thought I'd jump on. I want to answer a couple of questions that I usually get asked, I reckon, weekly, which I love. So I'll get through them. Very cold, just finishing off the coffee. Just wanted to say a quick hello. As always, I want to thank all the subscribers who jumped on the channel. I want to thank all the Facebook followers and subscribers also jumping on the channel, checking it out, saying hello, joining us for our little chats that we have. As I said, very dark, gloomy, wet weather. Norwest winds currently about 30, 40 knots. Very fishy for the snapper crew off the rock walls. Groins swells up. I would absolutely anticipate some very nice snapper coming through over the next 2 to 3 days. So, as I said, no fishing this morning. Just wanted to quickly just jump on. How you going, Brendan? I'm not sure if you're fishing this weekend, mate. The weather is absolutely bonkers winter. You know, I think July for me, Brendan's probably the hardest month to get out there and get a fish. You really got to pick those little small weather windows when you can to have a crack. I just want to jump on and answer a couple of questions. It's going to have some of these questions are going to have a couple of parts to the question. So I get asked all the time about Taylor. Now, look, some people out there might think Taylor, if you catch Taylor, you're not a triangular. To those people, I say jog on and move on with your lives. Tomorrow it's on. Yeah, tomorrow, Brendan, we've got in Perth, we've got a gentle easterly, swell resides. But I think the beaches will be pretty bit challenging. Still have a lot of weed and be very sanded up. So I think personally I'll probably go off for a local rock wall. There's a lot of King George whiting around with this weather. They get stirred up. There'll be some probably some storm garies in. There'll be some skippy, possibly some herring. So just a bit of bread and butter stuff for myself. But Brendan, I wish you all the best on your adventures, On Point Adventures. Check him out. If you haven't, guys, really good channel. Does really good reviews, honest reviews, non-biased reviews, and also get stuck into some absolutely amazing boating and land-based fishing. So go and check out On Point Adventures if you can. Well worth your time. All right, so this question, as I said, I probably get asked this, I would say at least every couple of weeks, is when is a good time to go tailor fishing? When is it never a good time to go tailor fishing, or any fishing, by the way? Every single minute you can make is a good time to go fishing. So, as I said, it has a few parts to this question. And for me personally, the first thing you got to factor in is, but we'll keep it metro instead of out of town, because I do think the rules definitely do change, and the conditions that you'll be looking at will change as well. So we're looking at just purely Perth Metro. When is it a good time to go tailor fishing? Now, for us, Perth and West Australia, we're a seasonal state, so all our schooling fish will run at different times of year. The size of the fish will change, and the quantity in those schools of fish will change as well. So it's very interesting. I find it extremely fascinating when we talk about tailor. I love catching tailor, so absolutely love catching tailor. So this time of year, we're in July, we're well into winter. As many of you that are in Perth, look out your windows now, you can see it is absolutely raging, that northwest wind. So, this time of year, typically, you can actually get out of bed quite later. You've got overcast conditions, and, you don't have to race down for first light. So let's just talk, we'll just go open beach. So I'm going to go head down on open beach. When is a good time to go hit an open beach? This time of year, you can go burley up an open beach. If you've got no cloud, no sun, you probably get that sort of 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. bite time for the tail in the morning. You coincide that with a high tide, you might get them to hang around longer. So we're just going to purely talk about, how you going, Joe? How are you? We're purely talking about open beaches here. Jetty, do you want to just wrap it up, mate? Yep. Do you want to do a live? As I said, this is unedited, unscripted. Got the pets, got the kids, so I'm doing my best. But Jetty, let's just wrap it up now, mate. Chill out a bit. All good. So that's, as I said, if we have cloud cover off an open beach, again, we can probably extend our bite time for an extra hour in the morning as well. So it really depends on the conditions, the wind, the swell. Now, a lot of people say, well, can you catch tailor in the middle of the day? You absolutely can catch tailor in the middle of the day. If I'm looking at targeting tailor, so I've got that 11 to 1 p.m. high tide, so sort of that lunchtime high tide. I'm going to go look at some reef areas where that water's coming through, and I can either go and throw some stick baits, I can go throw some big garies around, some big baits, and you'll catch really nice solid tailor around those reef areas. So really, when you're asking yourself, when should I go fishing, as I said, you should be going fishing all the time. Don't hesitate. I look back at some of the times that I've gone, should I go And if I had sat home and not gone all those amazing experiences, included with some, some good fish at the times, I would have missed out on all those captures. I've got a British accent. Love it. No, I'm absolutely Australian 100%. So, this time of year, as I said, you can fish later into mornings. Now, don't discount the evenings as well. So this time of year as well, once, if we don't always get our sea breezes in winter in the afternoons, typically summer and spring, we get those sea breezes that come through. Jetty, that's enough now, mate. Off you go, buddy. Go and get your fishing stuff. No more now. I told you. I'm on doing a video. That's it. Good job. I am British. No, I'm definitely not British, mate. So, as I said, this time of year, we're not going to have as many sea breezes in the afternoon. So, spring and summer, I'd always be looking at, if I've got that sea breeze, 20 to 30 knots, and I'd go down and fish that sunset afternoon bite for tailor as well. Now, if you've got an evening high tide between 8 and 11 o'clock, with that tide coming in, you can catch tailor as well. So really, at the end of the day, if you are based in Perth, you really just want to get out and fish as much as you can. Open beaches, your bite windows are always smaller than, if you're going to go fish around some rock walls, some groins. You're going to have less opportunities off open beach. You've got to remember too, off an open beach, there's no real structure. There might be some whiting, there might be some herring, there might be some bait physically in the shoreline, but unless you're burling up, unless that school of fish is holding, you've got a lot less chance of finding those schooling tailor, as opposed if you go and find, some fixed reef, some rock walls, some groins where there's already bait, and it's also coverage for the tailor as well. So when you're asking yourself the question, when should I go fishing for tailor, you have to really, you've got to start putting a little bit of effort into your fishing if you do want to catch, consistent fish. And again, it's all about just putting in the time, having a crack, seeing what works. At one spot, it might not work at another spot. Like 100%, as I said, I find the Metro Coast, it's very challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time in Perth, Western Australia. And, you can have a beach that's only 2 kilometres away, and that, one beach will fish really well on a, first light sunrise bite. Another beach will be a mid-morning bite, and then another area will be an afternoon sea breeze, and then another area just down the road will only fish well at night time. So I said it's just about trial and error, finding out what works. Fishing is really, really personal, and if you've got a method, a system, or you've got some theories and you've been giving it a crack and you've been getting fish, the rule that I say is if it's not broken, don't fix it. If you're getting out there and finding the fish, then hey, absolutely well done, and don't mix it up. But as I said, the Metro Coast, all our beaches are different. They fish at different times. And again, it's about getting out there and having a crack. Open beaches for me this time of year, I probably avoid the open beaches this time of year because, again, we've got swell, we've got weed, we've got winds. It just makes it really, really challenging. There's no protection, there's no coverage, off those open beaches. And I said, unless you're burling up, unless there's physical bait in close, those tailor, they'll generally come through, in the morning for a very, very small period of time, have a quick feed, and then they keep moving on. Whereas if you go fish reef and structure, a rock wall and groin, you could fish there for half a day easily, and those fish will come and go. So, as I said, great question. I love getting asked about tailor. I absolutely love fishing for tailor. And yes, you are a true angler. Angling is whatever you want it to be. You don't need it to be, you don't need to be holding big trophy fish. Everyone wants to be holding those metre plus mulloway, those big snapper, absolutely. But angling is whatever you make it. And, just go out there and have a crack. As I said, unedited, unscripted. Got the boy here. He's actually pulling on my leg right now. So, as I said, to all the content creators out there, I always want to give you credit where credit's due, because making content, having a family, working, paying bills, it's not easy. But, find the time when you can, find those little moments to get on, shout out to people, make the time, because that's all about time. I said I wish everyone well today that's heading out locally. I think we'll see a lot of snapper landed. Obviously, the likely spots, Ocean Reef, Hillary's, Cottesloe, Mullaloo has actually had a few snapper, probably Yanchep, Two Rocks, and up the coast looks very, very challenging. I don't think you'll see many crews head up the coast or down at Preston Way either. It's going to be very challenging. But as Brendan from On Point Adventures said, tomorrow looks a lot better for people. I'll be still avoiding the local beaches if you're in Perth, and look at your rock walls, your marinas, even going to the river, have a crack there. But whatever you do, I hope you enjoy yourself on the water, because it's all about getting out there, having a crack. Any other questions, send them through, and also you can check out the Facebook platform as well. Thanks for watching as always. Off to Tackle West. If you're in the area, Osborne Park, come and say hello. Amazing range of stuff. It's going to be very hard to save any of my money. But yeah, really looking forward to talking tackle today and getting out and having a crack tomorrow. Thanks for watching as always. Until next time, tight lines, be safe, be kind. Cheers.